What's going on, everybody? This is Steve from This is Pop Punk Promotions. I'm here with Jack from Waco, from Brighton, England. How's it going, Jack?
Life is good. How's it going, Dave?
Same here. Really appreciate you coming on, man. Let's dive right
It's
in.
all right.
So
Yeah.
when and how did you guys form?
So I was, we're all not from London, but we all met in London. I saw Tom, the guitarist, when I was at university. He was in a class of mine and he had a Operation Ivy t-shirt. And I remember thinking, that's a guy I want to hang out with. So I went over to him and we got talking. And then we just had an idea for a band. And then we started practicing. Then we didn't have a name. And then gradually we've grown from there. And it was us and our friend Chris and then Craig. And like I said, none of us were from London, but a lot of people aren't because it's such a kind of busy city. There's so many people there. And then since then, it's just grown and grown. And we've had different members. Sadly, our bassist, Chris, passed away a couple of years ago, suddenly, and kind of, it was a big thing for us. But then we decided to continue the band, and we've got our friend James and our friend Ian playing with us now. And it's, yeah, man, it's just, it came from an idea. It came from an idea of, wouldn't it be fun to play in a band? And then 7 years later, we're still doing it.
That's sick.
Cheers,
So you guys released a new song in November called The World. How's the response been?
So The World, yeah, so that's from an upcoming album. The response has been really good. People like it. And we took a bit of we get really playful in the studio, for better or for worse. You know, sometimes you're like, shit, is this too far? Is it too silly or ambitious? And so this one's got trumpets on it and synthesizer. And we thought that might be too much for a punk rock song, but then we did it and people seem to like it. So it's got, so yeah, people seem to dig it. And we were playing it on tour last year and it kind of works, man. It's like, we took a chance on it. Like I said, getting a bit out there with the instruments, but it's paid off. And that's from an album that's coming out this year, which is unannounced yet, apart from me just announcing it then.
Very cool. So who did you guys record it with and how's the process?
So we recorded it with Steve Sears, who's done all of our Waco stuff. And he plays in a really good band called Gold Key, who everyone who's listening to this should check out. They're really cool. So we've always recorded it with him, and we did it at Monolith Studios, which is in Tottenham in London. And it was great. Like what Steve does is he gets the best out of us. And I think this is what producers should, an engineer and a producer should do. But there's something a bit deeper than that. It's not just like a working relationship, like we hire him. It's kind of like he's part of the band because we've been doing it for so long. And we've really learned how to make music, basically. Like, you know, like we're better now than we were before. That's the hope. And so he's gotten my singing voice is better because of him. I think that all of our playing has improved because of the way we work with him. And he kind of, it can be tough love sometimes. You know, he says, oh, that's crap. You can do better. That's rubbish. But ultimately, he wants the same thing as us. If he didn't care about it, he wants a good sounding record and well made songs. So ultimately, I think we've got a shared goal, and it has to be a bit of tough love sometimes to get there. But he's like the sixth member of our band. He's like an extra member, and I know that's a bit of a cliche phrase, but it really does feel like it. And I can't imagine recording with anyone else. And every time you listen to Waco, and you think, "Wow, that sounds amazing." That's Steve Sears Jr. That's why it sounds so good. We write the songs, and he even helps out with some of the songwriting. You know, like if we're stuck on a chorus or we're stuck on some bits, he'll offer some advice. So we really wouldn't sound as good as we do. I think we sound good. We wouldn't sound as good as we do if it wasn't for Steve. So big up Steve. And Monolith Studios, which is primarily a metal and hardcore studios, but they find space in their heart to let us like punk kids in there now and again.
That's incredible. So Steve's
Thanks,
the GOAT.
Yes, he's the GOAT.
Very cool. So you're from Brighton. How's the alternative music scene there? Do you have a favorite venue, a favorite local band?
So I'm actually from Yorkshire, but I live in Brighton now, and I've been here for a few months, and the alternative scene here is great. And this is kind of part of the spirit of the city. It's not just alternative music; it's all kind of music, performance, art, festivals. There's so much going on here, like fashion. There's so much cool stuff going on here, and I think that's what makes Brighton unique. And people who live here really love it. It seems, it's not like if you go to some places, ask people in the street what they like about the place they live in, or if they like the place they live. They don't always say they do, but in Brighton, everyone seems to like it. So everyone seems to be on board with all the eccentricities and the bright creativity that happens here. So the scene here is great. As for favorite venues and bands within punk and alternative music, I really like the Hope and Ruin. It's a great venue. And I really like the Prince Albert, which is a venue that we've played the most, I think. We always play at Washed Out Festival here, which is an amazing festival that goes over 3 days in September. And it's all punk and emo and hardcore, and it's just got a really unique thing going on. So that takes over the city. But luckily, we've been invited back to play a few times, and it's been at the Prince Albert a few times, and whenever we play, and that venue is amazing. And as for favorite bands, I love Regal Cheer. They're a new band. They've got a lot of short, punky, kind of indie kind of songs, and I've heard some of their new album, and it's fantastic. So watch this space.
That's awesome. So who are your biggest influences?
So I'll speak on behalf of the other guys because we've talked about this before, but I like bands like Radio Birdman and the Ramones, kind of rock and rolly punk with some kind of sing-along stuff. And I know the other guys like, and together we like stuff that actually leans towards prog rock as well sometimes, like 70s prog, like Rush and Genesis. And we like some like skate punk, stuff like Descendants. So I think you can hear all that, and a lot of 70s rock. So that kind of AOR and 70s rock and heavy metal and like Thin Lizzy and stuff like that. Not we listen to heavier stuff, but for this band, I think we take influences from 70s rock and punk rock. So somewhere between skate punk of the 90s probably and the classic rock of the 70s. And I don't know if you can hear that in our music, but that's kind of what we're going for. So to name check some more bands again: Radio Birdman, Ramones, Genesis, Rush, Descendants, Zeke. We like Yob. We like who else? We think Earn. We like Parquet Courts. Loads of bands. But it's a bit of a mix up, and I hope you can hear that in a effective way in our music. It doesn't sound mishmash. Hopefully it sounds cohesive in some way, and you can hear some influences from different areas.
So here's the next question. So if you could tour with any of those bands, which one?
Wow. I'd love to tour with the Ramones in the 70s, which is impossible because most of them are dead, but that would be amazing because I think they had something that was so much energy, and really encompassed punk, and really it was kind of before punk or as punk was emerging. So there's something so raw about that I'd love to just be in the same room as them playing. So if we could support them, that would be great. And as for bands that are playing now, out of that list I mentioned, God, there was a lot of old bands in that list. I would like to play with Earn because I listened to their new album. That's like metal music. The new album's fantastic, and although we're different genres, I think perhaps there's a kind of a through line between us. We both I think they like classic rock as much as we do. That's what I'm thinking.
Match made in heaven.
Exactly.
Very cool. So now I'm going to ask you some non-music questions. It's a good way for me to get to know you. I did this with the other bands I interviewed. Are you ready?
Yeah, 1 second. I'm just gonna get my water from the floor. 1 second. Pardon me. Okay, let's go.
All right, first one. Favorite subject in school?
Drama. Because music, although that's what I like to do now, it was a bit dead. So drama was my thing because I like performing.
That's a different answer. I like it. So if you could be any superhero, which one?
Meet or be? Did you say?
What's that? Pardon?
Did you say if I could meet a superhero or be a superhero?
If you could be any superhero, which one?
I'd probably be Iron Man because he is mega rich and he's got no superpowers, but I would use all his riches and all my riches as Iron Man and give it to the needy and give it to places that needed it more than me. And I'd dissolve the character of Iron Man and say, this is a vanity project. It doesn't need to exist. I'd give all the money away to charities that I saw needed it.
Very cool. So if you had $1 million, you could donate to any charity, which one?
Wow. Okay. Well, that's kind of what I just answered. Any charity? Whoa. $1 million. I'd probably give it to. This is hard because this is hard. I'd probably give it to. I'd probably give it to the Freedom from Torture. That's the charity that I support, and it's kind of self-explanatory.
So here's another one. If you go back in time and talk to one world leader or person of influence, who would it be?
These are hard questions, man. These are hard questions. I would probably go back in time and speak to oh mate, this is so hard. I'd probably go back in time and just hang out with Jimi Hendrix and smoke weed and pick his brains about songwriting and play some guitar with him. And he's a person of influence. He's not a world leader, but I guess he
counts.
leader.
Dead musicians counts as people of influence.
Yeah, they're important. So I'd probably go and hang out with Jimi Hendrix for the day and drink wine and pick his brains about what goes on in there, and let's make some music together. I'd probably do that.
They had an impact on society, so they count as people of influence.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he did.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Last question. What are some places in Brighton that visitors should check out?
So if you come to Brighton, you should go to you should come to Washed Out Festival, which is in September, which is, like I said, a great punk and indie and emo and hardcore festival. You should visit I've just moved here, so I guess I'm not the right person to ask. You should visit. You should go to Peace Haven, which is a little bit further down from Brighton, and they've got these. And it's just an amazing beach. It's an amazing beach, and they've got these big chalk cliffs. And chalk's really interesting. So go there and do research about chalk and ammonites. They've got these ammonites, which are fossilized like shells. You know, you've seen them, and they're huge. They're like a tractor tire. You see them, and they're fossilized. They look like rocks on the beach, but you look closely, and they're spirals. So that's quite cool because it's like history everywhere. And I would go hit up the gay clubs while you're here, because there's some amazing gay clubs here, and the gay scene, the LGBT scene, is kind of what makes Brighton what it is. And they've made it, and it's probably the best night out you can have. One of the best nights out you can have in England, in Britain, I would say in Brighton. So if you come out here, go to the discos, go to the gay clubs, go to the punk venues, and go down the beach and yeah, take it all in.
So when I get over there, you'll have to take me to those places.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go. Let's go dancing.
Sounds good, brother. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and chatting up a little bit. The support means the world to me. You and the other bands that I promote and friends with you guys, remind me why I love doing this so much. So it can be really tough with the algorithm and all that. So I really appreciate the support.
Yeah, man. Well, do you know what? You're supporting us, right? I'm thanking you for supporting us in Waco and for having me on today, because really it's the passion of people like yourself that keep the wheels turning in this industry, because the music industry is it's probably in the worst state it's been, I think, in history, perhaps, because it's so confusing. And so I think the passion and the DIY ethic of people like yourself keep it moving and keep people listening to bands and help bands make money and tour and all this kind of thing. And so, yeah, so thank you for your support. What you do is great. This is Pop Punk Promotions is great.
Really appreciate it, man. So for the people that are going to watch this later, where can they find your music at?
So we're called Waco, WACO, and you can find us on Spotify, on iTunes. You can find us, you can buy a vinyl, that would be great. It supports us, it helps us get petrol for the road. And we've got a new album called Hope Rituals. It's out now, and it's got loads of great songs in it, I think. stuff that we put our hearts and souls into. And we've got our newest single is from a forthcoming album. So our newest single is called The World, and our new album should be out this year, and it's all finished. It's ready to go. We're playing some gigs. I want to plug some gigs before I go. So we're playing next week. We're playing in London. So on March the 18th, we're playing in London. That's sold out. So if you've got a ticket, we'll see you there. But after that, we're playing on the 14th of April in London at the New Cross Inn. The 15th of April, we're playing in Manchester at Manchester Punk Fest. On the 16th of April, we're playing at Trowbridge Town Hall, which is near Frome in Somerset. And then on Sunday the 17th of April, we're playing in Milton Keynes at the Crawford Arms. That's my advert done. Come and see us live. Come and say hello. We're here to make friends and spread the love.
Everybody go to all those shows. And unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. I'll be there in Spear. I got to get my passport updated.
Yes. Nice one, man.
Well, hope you have a great day, my man, and we'll chat soon.
Definitely. Take care, mate. Peace.
See you later.